Lisa can hear it now.
Oh, yeah. Pick it on. That's if like you're using it.
But we just got it on because they don't have people this week. But we had a tournament in Minnewaska on Saturday and Sunday. Had that, and then tomorrow night, and then next Sunday he's playing 14U back in Minnewaska. And the playoffs start, we don't know. I'm thinking, when do your playoffs start?
This
Do they?
Thursday, no information.
Right, ours might start Friday with no information, so I'm like, oh. But they might be high seed, so maybe they won't play Friday,
Yeah.
maybe they'll play the following Tuesday. But
Yeah,
that's
we're
good.
live in.
So,
We're good?
yeah, information,
All right.
good.
Yeah.
Make sure you got the
Right.
mic
Looks like,
close to
looks
you.
like we got our stuff figured out. Okay. All right, we'll call the board meeting back to session. Apologize to everybody watching online for our audio, but I think we've got that figured out, so we'll continue. Item 7, consent agenda. Approval of the meeting minutes for June 9th. Approval of the payment for claims. Approval of the finance report.
Make a motion.
We have a motion. Any second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for the consent agenda. Any further discussion? No further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 8, board organization for the 25-26 school year. 8.1 is to set the board and committee meeting dates.
So I know there were some of those that there were some conflicts, like February 12th. There is a conflict. If you folks are all right with it, would it make sense to get closer to it so we can figure out what else is going on?
Yep.
Okay. So if you folks are all right with that, as especially committee meetings, we'll always review those board meeting before and find a, or the committee meeting before and find a better date. Okay?
So we'll just do that with every meeting, is that what your proposal?
Yeah, I think we do a pretty good job of getting them on the agenda. So we'll just have to watch
Yep.
that.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. All right, so there's no action with that then, or is there?
You have to prove it as it is, right?
We don't have the dates on. Or am I not seeing it attached?
We sent it in a weekly update of the dates
Yep.
that we have.
So I didn't get it on the agenda. I'll get it on the agenda.
I know there was one day for the board, building grounds that did not work for me.
Okay.
I don't think I got back to you.
Okay. I will add it to the agenda as I shared our weekly update. And
So then do we have a motion to approve as was submitted in our weekly update?
Motion to approve by sample.
I'll second.
Motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries. 8.2 is adopt a resolution to hold meetings and conduct business on Indigenous Peoples' Day of October 13th, 2025.
okay, that used to be called Christopher or Columbus Day. Now it's in statute that we aren't to have any meetings unless we have school that day. We do have school that day, but still makes sense to have a motion to have a board meeting.
This is something that we've been doing every year.
Correct.
Motion by sample to approve.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, this is a resolution, so we'll have the roll call vote. Start with Director Winter.
Ron Winter? Yes.
Amanda Lisi, yes. Laurel Christensen, yes.
Sonia Peterson, yes?
Jeremy LeBlanc, yes.
Matt Semple, yes.
Abby Richter, yes.
Motion carries. 8.3 is to designate the official publication sites as our website at www.isd2190.org.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. 8.4 is to designate the official newspaper as the Advocate Tribune.
A motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. 8.5 is to authorize financial procedures and personnel for the 25-26 school year.
I've seen the attachments.
I don't think we have to redo our signature cards because we did them in January.
So it's the same signature
Yeah.
cards that were, okay, I just wanted to confirm it wasn't supposed to be an attachment. All right, in that case, motion to approve. By Semple.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Carries. 8.6 is designate school depository. I've seen attachment on that. Who are the depositories?
FM Bank of Clarkfield for the payroll, Citizens Alliance Bank for the board account, Minnesota School District Liquid Asset Fund for receiving federal funds, state and levy revenue, Minnesota Trust receiving federal funds for state aid and levy revenue, Minnesota Trust for investments, and also Minnesota Trust to provide electronic fund transfers for payroll and board checks.
Motion to approve by Semple.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. 8.7 to authorize facsimile use of board signature.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. And 8.8 is to designate the attorney and legal counsel.
And those are the same as we've used in the past. Kristen for, from Squires, Walsberger, and Mace, and then Spencer Quam from Holmstrom, Quam, and Blackwell.
Motion to approve by Semple.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving on to item 9, reports. The district report, Mr. Schneider.
The principals, we generally give them off July, so I'll be the only report tonight. Staffing, we're doing quite a bit of hiring and staffing right now. You'll see a few of these positions filled. We still have a number of positions that will need to be filled before the start of the school year, including a couple resignations that we'll take action tonight on. One that was not listed there is a long-term substitute elementary, so we do have a 4th grade teacher that will take will be out for an extended period. We do have that filled through the use of a short call substitute teacher and multiple approaches through that. That's the best we could do. It will be as consistent as we can make it, but we continue to work on them. Property insurance changes, we are changing from Brown and Brown to Allied Partners. That will, our assured partners, they will be our broker. Already have seen a significant reduction in our overall property and other insurance rates to the tune of about $28,000 per year. So that's good. Surplus property, we have, first of all, we should get our new mower this week, and so then the other mowers can go up for auction. We also have a steamer and an oven from our food service program that needs to be sold. An old floor scrubber of little value, we'll probably see if we can get rid of it, otherwise we're gonna have to find a way to dispose of it. The other thing are our laptops, our staff laptops. We have to decide what we would do with those, and I put there per our policy 802. They may purchase property or materials from the district if the items are no longer needed for public purposes and are sold after reasonable public notice. Reasonable public notice is considered to be at least 1 week's published or posted notice. There is some merit or there is some interest in people buying them. The problem is managing it. So I've asked Darren to figure out what the whole lot would sell for if we got rid of it all at once, but I know there's some staff members would really like to be able to purchase their old device. So I have not really made a final decision on that, just simply because it's a nightmare to manage. So maybe in another year I might look at it differently.
If we're gonna sell to staff, we're gonna make sure they go through security wipes and everything.
Correct, and all the software would be removed, right? And it wouldn't just be to staff, we would have to give public notice to other people too. That's what 802 is saying, is we can't take advantage of our position.
Right.
Four-star parent aware, Keisha Lawaji, along with assistance from Lisa Hanson, did a bunch of work, and so now we are again four-star parent aware. That means that we have access to certain funds from MDE, and I think it's the Department of Child, Youth, and Families is the other two sources of those funds. So that is helpful to us, helps lower the cost to our parents. Parent-teacher conferences. So if you recall, a long time ago, February or March, in there we decided we were going to go with a different system for parent-teacher conferences. We're going to use some of the time in the fall as pre-service for our open house, and then we're going to have one parent-teacher conference throughout the year. We tried as hard as we could to have it earlier in the year. Unfortunately, we could not find a date. The first date that has the least amount of conflict is November 6th, which is the last day of the first quarter, all right? What that will look like is we'll release at 1 o'clock, conferences will start after that, run from 1:40 to 7:40 for the one time, all right? That should not be the only time that they will be able to communicate with you folks, with parents, but I would like to put that on the calendar because we said we were looking at to find a date so that that's communicated to parents. Because it is a 1 o'clock early release. It's on a Thursday. Friday is an in-service, all-day in-service. So it does allow a little break for parents too.
I have a question on time chosen, 1:40 to 7:40, why not hours of 2 to 8?
Well, okay, so the reason we did 1:40 to 7:40 is because it gets us within the contract, so it's they get so many hours, and by using the 1:40 to 3:40, that's actually not part of a day, so we actually get more mileage out of it by having conferences from 1:40 to 3:40. And I know that's not directly answering your question, but we just did that because then the end game was from 3:40 to 7:40, so we didn't have to figure out that 20 minutes elsewhere in the calendar. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, but it's a question people will ask, I'm sure,
Yeah.
when they get a notice of the times.
Yeah, well, and to be quite honest with you, I've done conferences, I remember doing them as a teacher, having them until 9 o'clock, 8 to 9, kind of crickets, I mean,
Right.
a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
So. All right, legislative update, I put some high points here. I've also included, I believe I put that on board book, the MSBA recap. It's right here, if anybody wants a copy of it. It's, I just tried to hit some of the high points. Compensatory aid, it looks like we will benefit about $40,000 from that. And what that is that's going to, we will be held harmless for our situation. We'll be back to the FY24 pupil count. So that's how we gain $40,000 from that swing. Now, just so you know, remember compensatory aid for FY27, 28, and 29 is not solved. All right, we have no idea what they're gonna do with that. School library aid, we're gonna lose about $20,000 on school library aid. Probably not the end of the world. We don't like to lose any money, but we'll still get $20,000 out of that. LTFM, we've had this conversation, especially in buildings and grounds, about why we can't use LTFM on roofing projects. Well, now we have that ability. So, starting this year. Substitute teacher program, this really expands who we can use for a substitute. The limit on this is it's only for 10 consecutive days. So education support personnel, paraprofessional, etc. in those non-licensed certified positions now can substitute for 10 consecutive days in that position. So hopefully that helps us get more candidates for those positions. Special education transportation aid, we will lose quite a bit in this. When I say quite a bit, I'm gonna guess in the neighborhood of $20,000 to $30,000 as a result of this change. So we have quite a bit of that. School meals, not a huge amount, but if you cut our reimbursement down from 12.5 cents to 6.25 cents, times the number of meals we have in a year, it's gonna have an impact. It will, so. But not the end of the world. If we have to tighten our belt, rather have it there. School food service fund, this is good news. We can use this now for facilities improvement. We used to not be able to do things such as electrical or some of the repairs in our food service program. We didn't used to be able to use our food service fund for that, now we can. Labor Day start, we will have that decision coming up because FY27 and FY28, both of those have a very, very late Labor Day start. So we'll have to figure that out when we do those two calendars. And we do not have to do anything to get approval from the state for that. So it'll be a local decision. Open meeting law, we don't use it a lot, or haven't used it because we couldn't. Or we could, but we didn't. It was kind of awkward. Now board members are allowed to participate remotely without disclosing location and allowing public access. I don't know all of the details to that, but that at least allows some participation. All right?
I got a question about the substitute teacher program. So if we have a para that is able to do some sub work, would they then get the substitute teacher pay rate versus?
They will
the para?
get whichever is in their favor.
Okay, whichever's higher. Okay.
Yep, so what we do, and it's one of our proposals tonight to increase that substitute pay, but I think still most of them are going to be above that, but it's an individual situation.
reports, facilities meeting and tour from June 10th.
Yeah, I think a few of you were there that night. We had good attendance. And also, this will kind of bleed into our building referendum update. I believe we had, I don't know, what would you say, about 60, 65? I had an exact number on that night, but I think that's where it was. So very well attended.
Yeah, a lot of good questions.
Yeah, I thought it went very well.
All right, 9.2.2, the Merved board meeting.
I was just thinking about what we want to talk about. We talked about, a lot about the Unstoppable Games that Brandon, kind of started from Merved. And, I think it was about 50 students this year that they had from the different Merved districts. Next year, they're expecting about 100 students, so double than what they had. It was a great event, attended, I asked, Angela, what she, thought, and we sent one student here from Wyoming to the Unstoppable Games. Apparently, like, all of the districts thought that next year they would be bringing way more kids, to it. We always go around and talk about one thing that we're discussing at our local school boards, and one thing I thought was interesting is I guess Dawson Boyd, their constituents are really kind of requesting a 4-day school week over there, so they're really doing a lot of digging into should they, shouldn't they, all of that. So I thought that was interesting. What else did we talk about? They seem to be kind of holding steady with the number of students, seated students over at the ALC. They are not really doing anything with the packets anymore. They kind of stopped doing that, so, that. And then the E-rate and telecom aid, that used to be a big thing that Karen would work on, but that really went away now, so very little, work is going on with that.
I can just add a little bit. So we get that now from Southwest West Central.
Yeah.
That's part of our agreement with them, because we also get all of our fiber and stuff, all of our internet through Southwest West Central. Whereas we used to get it through a consortium of Merved schools.
Yeah. And then, we went through the ALC handbook, not really many changes there, and then, we are doing like a board professional development where we're doing a book study, so we read a few chapters of the book and then we discuss it at our meetings, so. Yeah. That's about it.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. At the Activities Committee, back on July 2nd. Report on that.
We talked first, about NFHS, which is our current streaming service. We have been having conversations for quite a while. Between, about NFHS, we're switching over to Huddle. Currently, we are the only school in our conference that uses NFHS. Everyone else uses Huddle. What we're kind of hearing now from Tim is some of the schools are starting, I think it grew so fast, and they're starting to have issues more with Huddle. So we decided we're just gonna stick with NFHS. We had, like, I don't remember what the contract length is, do you guys remember, but
I wanna say 3 years.
Yeah, I think so. So we just decided, after hearing some feedback from him, that it would maybe just be better, because we have been hearing too that NFHS has been, it's been better. I mean, in the last year
Yep.
or two, for
It's
sure.
getting better as it gets.
It's getting better,
goes on.
so,
Mhm.
yeah.
Is NFHS still not connected with our scoreboards? I know they do with other brands, but not ours.
I don't
I
know.
don't know
know.
the answer to that question, to be honest with you.
I don't even know if that ever came up.
No, I don't, we never even talked
No.
about that, I guess, so I don't know.
So you're saying like when you watch it from other schools, you can see the score on the bottom?
I think with other brands, yeah.
Like Huddle, for instance, you can see the
I would have to.
There was a couple of issues with that, I think, and I wonder if that got resolved for like football and stuff, is that what you're?
Well, no, I think for all of the sports we broadcast, I know originally when we started, the conversation was that they don't hook up to, they don't link, their soccer isn't linked to our brand of scoreboards, so we couldn't have that feature.
Okay.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
They've got
That's a
that
good
sort
We'll have
of.
to ask.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And we also talked about the fee schedule
Yeah.
for the 25-26 school year. It's gonna increase just a little bit from, like, the athletic fee, or what parents will pay, the 9th through 12th. It was at 80, and we're gonna raise that to 90 for 9th through 12. 7th and 8th, is that staying? I don't see what, 7th and 8th, this is full pay, I'm not saying about the reduced or the free lunch. The full pay for 7th and 8th will be 60. I'm not sure if that's a change or not. It doesn't reflect to be one.
We're gonna discuss all of that.
Are we discussing that later?
Okay.
Perfect. So yes, we have the fee thing that we kind of
Yep.
talked about, so we'll decide on that later. Laurel, or anything else?
E-ticketing, you guys have probably heard about that. We decided at this time, we've got a lot of change that's maybe coming in the next,
Yeah.
how long, so kind of hold off on that. Activity worker pay, we are adding, a couple of paid positions, which is new for us, for softball and baseball scoreboard and announcer. We've had people running, doing those things in the past, but, hoping to get some incentive there behind some pay, so, I don't know if that might be on this
I think that's later,
document as well.
that's later too, yeah.
Yep. Otherwise, we just talked too about, conversations around coaching education. What do we kind of currently have in place for our head coaches, for our assistant coaches? You can kind of read some of that.
With the training and everything that's involved for coaching.
Yep,
That's what we talked about. The Journey Fit program for the summer, I think it's being well received. Let's see, anything else you guys can think of?
Ron?
Good.
Something here about the Richfield scoreboard, some panels that need to be replaced.
That was kind of hit and miss, depends on when that, some panels need to be replaced, but then what
But
was
then
that?
they like
Laurel?
started working again,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
So are they gonna wait?
He
till
was
something
intending
doesn't-
to clean it
Yeah.
somehow.
yeah, Tim was gonna do some more work.
Yeah,
So if we
because it's a little bit to replace that, as you can see right there, so we were
But
just
we
gonna.
would split the cost of it.
With the
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, if that's needed to be done in the future, that's a thing. But we're just gonna watch it, I think, and clean it right now and see. But yes, I think, yeah.
Okay, thank you for the report. Community meeting referendum from ECHO, was held on July 8th.
Okay, and attended that with me. I think we had, what did we count, 8 people? So, not a bad turnout for
Yeah.
Echo. I was impressed.
Yeah, minus we had
The
a
rest
couple
was-
of, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it was good, some great questions, My next thing I'll kind of talk about what I'm starting to see for common questions, but I thought it was good. I'll touch on, next one was Clarkfield. I believe we had about 30 people there, which is
31, I thought.
31.
Okay, so good attendance
That's a
at
great
Clarkfield.
turnout, yeah.
Yep, good, good conversation, great questions, you know, it kind of tells you what people are curious about. So that was good.
Yeah, I thought from Clarkfield, many of them were informed with a lot of good questions and knew where their taxes were gonna sit, but still wanted some clarification from Nickel on the ag school credit. Yeah, it was good stuff.
Good.
That takes us next to the building referendum update.
Okay, so just an overall update on all of the things that are going. You can see in this document here, we've had a number of different activities where we have spoken. We still have 4 yet scheduled coming up. When I say 4, one of them being Facebook Live, which will be on July 22nd at 5:30. But this week yet, July 16th, Wednesday night, will be at 6 p.m. in the fire hall at Hanley Falls. So hopefully we get a good turnout there, as we have in our other ones. And then we're going to go present to the Granite Falls City Council on July 21st. We get, being we've had other meetings here, we thought that would be good to go talk to the City Council. I believe Laurel is planning to attend, and Sonia, you're thinking you'll make your best effort to attend that. That would be good. And then we've got one big last event here at the school on the 22nd at 7 p.m. At both that and Facebook Live, we will have Michael Hart from PMA, Jim Wilson from Wendell, and Preston Yearly from R.A. Morton. All 3 of them will be there with me, so it's a good opportunity. We'll try and do a little bit different format. After the July 22nd one at 7 p.m. when that ends, if people want tours, I'll make myself available to give tours at that time, especially if they want to see something in particular. We've invested quite a bit in communication, and I'm starting to hear that people are. I don't hear much that they don't know what's going on, so that's good. All the communication and the money that has been spent on that is paying dividends in my mind. The other thing we do is we have a weekly PR meeting every Wednesday from 12:15 to 1:15. 3 of you sit in on that, Abby, Matt, and Jeremy. I think those have been good, right? Kind of keeps everybody's on task so they can keep going. I included there voting information, so clean that up a little bit. So if people have questions about it, that's very good information there about how they can vote. I know there has been some questions about the uniqueness of Clarkfield's voting. Unfortunately, we had nothing to do with that. Which that's fine. I believe they're scheduled to get their ballots sometime this week. Yeah, I think the 17th they should plan. So that's good. Some of the common topics or comments that I'm hearing is the cost and tax impact. People want to know what it's going to cost them and why we chose what we did for building options. So that's always good to review with them. Enrollment and population, especially in Clarkfield, that came up quite a bit. We've tried to address that. Test scores has come up. Egg to school credits. I think one of the most frequent questions is, do we know it's going to be sustained? And we do not absolutely know. We're doing the best we can to educate people about it, but unfortunately the legislature does not have, has not said that it will continue. I think the way Michael explained it last week was good. It would be hard for them to not, or to withdraw that in the midst after we pass something. That would be an unbelievable burden on our agriculture community.
he said for measures like this historically, what they've done is set a date, and from that point forward, it doesn't exist, or it's changed. But anyone else that had it prior to is grandfathered in.
Yeah. So it would be hard to change it after you voted for it, whereas if you know, going back, or when you vote on it, like before 2017, the way things work, you knew exactly what it was gonna cost you, and you approved it accordingly. So, a few questions about voting in non-residents, it always seems to come up. I own land in Wyoming, can I vote on it? And unfortunately, we don't make the rules, but the answer is simply no. How, where, and when to vote, we discussed that a little bit earlier. There's a multitude of options. Next step, if it fails, unfortunately, we don't have a great answer for that, if it does fail. We have to do something, so we'll have to circle the wagons and come back to it, if it does. Using other buildings such as Midwest, that's probably come up 2 or 3 times. Why don't we just take the Midwest building, which a lot of people think is underutilized, and convert that to a school? Phases for construction and the time frame of construction. Those are kind of the major topics. Questions or comments from you folks, things that you folks are hearing?
Just wanted to share the recent mailing that went out, the booklet. I've gotten people were really excited. This is really informative, and multiple people have told me that. So that's exciting to hear. That means they're getting it and they're reading it, and it was really well put together, so, yeah.
I got the same feedback.
Did you? Yeah.
And people noticed it on like some of the
They
flyers,
noticed
so.
it, exactly, yep.
Yeah, it stood out. Okay.
I'm very impressed with our vote yes committee. I think they're doing a wonderful job.
Absolutely.
Putting in a lot of hours, hard work, and they're doing a great job. So.
All right, that's all I have.
All right. Keep getting the word out. Moving on to new business, personnel items.
Well, there's a lot going on there. You have 3 resignations from Megan Smallman, Lucas Stam, Sammy Halverson, and Robin S. Leeson. So,
Before, right?
yeah.
We could take the leave requests and resignations all in one. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. And we have new hires, approval of employment for early childhood special education teacher, Rhonda Visey. Approve employment for middle school, high school math teacher, Alexa Amato. Approve employment for long-term sub-elementary teacher, Tammy Caruth. And approve employment for long-term substitute elementary teacher for Michelle Vavrika. Approve employment for BRE paraprofessional Michelle Vavrika. And approve employment for BRE paraprofessional Megan Cananci.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second by Zempel.
Motion is second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries. All right, so next is acknowledgement of donations received during the 24-25 school year.
So Jeremy keeps track of these, and we definitely appreciate all of these donations, and definitely help strengthen our programs altogether. So total of about 20,856. And
That was the grants.
so that's grants and donations of about $110,700 in donations, so,
It's incredible,
It is.
isn't it?
definitely appreciated. All right, to approve these donations? Or recognize them? Is there one?
Recognize would be,
So it's not approval, it's a recognition.
yes.
Is there a motion to recognize the donations received in the 24-25 year?
Motion by Zempel.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion?
Thank you to everybody that donated.
Yes, absolutely.
Grants that we
Very
received.
generous community.
Yes.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Number 3 is accept milk, or bids for milk and milk products.
Okay, so we got 2 bids, one from Cass Clay and one from Prairie Farms. You can, if you take a look at those 2 bids, Cass Clay, the unique thing about them is they won't provide coolers, so that significantly increases the cost. So we would need several coolers and we'd have to purchase them ourselves for them to provide the milk. We haven't had any problems. We've been using Prairie Farms and we haven't had any problems. So Marlis is recommending that we approve the bid of Prairie Farms.
Is there a motion to approve the bid for Prairie Farms?
Motion to approve the bid for Prairie Farms by Zempel.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries. Next item is to approve the credit card use and procurement procedure.
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mark one tonight. Let's back up a little bit and approve the fees and rate schedule for 24, or 25, 26.
So I think I outlined in here, first of all, meal prices, unfortunately, we do not get to set the adult meal prices. The rest of it is subject to USDA. I will tell you, last year, we proposed seconds at $3. In full transparency, you folks approved $2. Understand. We're just, $3 more closely represents the cost of that second meal. We cannot use any federal dollars to offset that. We do not get any reimbursement on those seconds. So, then mileage reimbursements set by IRS. Substitute pay, I'm recommending going from 170 to 180 for a regular certified sub, and from 180 to 190 from YME retired certified sub. Non-certified staff substitutes, that means somebody that comes in a non-certified position, was at $4.50 an hour. We are recommending $15. And YME retired non-certified substitutes was $15.50. We are recommending $17. Really, those non-certified retired people are very valuable to us because those are really hard positions to fill. So, board and committee meetings, I'm not recommending any changes there. Activities worker pay, this is, I just provide a list of the changes. Musical supervisor to $50, varsity football supervisor to $60, rationale being that's the hardest event to supervise. Volleyball C official, $45, more in line with what the area schools are doing. Junior high and C squad basketball official, $65. JV wrestling official, $120. That one's a substantial increase, but that oftentimes, I believe, as Tim explained it, the night of activities, these people work harder than maybe the varsity officials have to. And then adding a baseball and a softball announcer paid position, and then increasing baseball and softball umpire rates to $85.
I don't see those attached.
Yeah, it looks like it's only the first page.
It's on the agenda analysis.
Oh,
Does it have a link on it?
gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, that's on the agenda analysis, but there was a whole rate schedule for all of our
There it
positions
is, yeah.
that I didn't see attached.
Yeah, there should have been two. We'll get the second one attached to it.
But what you had in your agenda analysis is the only ones that have changed, correct?
Correct.
Mhm.
And then the family cost is not changing, right, for
Correct.
activities?
I did not include that, did I?
No.
That is the other sheet there, yeah. So, yeah, full pay is going from $80 to $90 for 9 through 12, from 40 to 45 for reduced lunch, and from 16 to 18 for free lunch. Activities fees for like passes, or for activity fees, non-athletic activity fees. For full pay will go from 40 to 50, reduced lunch will go from 20 to 25, and free lunch will go from 8 to 10. Activity passes will go for students, K-12 will go from 25 to 30, adult from 75 to 80, and senior citizen from 50 to 55. That should be all of them as I look at it now.
Mhm.
For the seconds, we don't offer that unless there's food available, correct?
Correct. There always is. Might not be the first entree.
Right. I would propose that we leave that at $2. Didn't break us this year to have it that way. I think it would benefit our kids to have it affordable as possible.
I'll second that. Do we need a,
So I think what you could do is approve all these with
Mhm.
that as the exception. Okay? Does that make sense?
I'll make a motion to approve as written with the exception of reducing the second from $3 to $2, or leave it as is at $2. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Mhm.
I think that clarifies it. There's a motion to accept the fee schedules as presented with the change to leave the seconds at $2 instead of $3. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Now, approve the credit card use and procurement procedure.
So we started doing this last year, and it's not required, but I think it sends a pretty strong message with what we've seen in a couple districts here about the limits on how credit cards can be used. Hopefully, we're making some headway, and Denise has less fraudulent activities that she has to investigate. And when I say fraudulent, doesn't mean that an employee is using it wrong. It just means maybe they stored it on a device and somehow it got used at another time, or we're just trying to reduce the chance of fraud.
I think this is a good policy to keep this out in the open.
Motion to approve by Zempel?
Motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second, any further discussion?
Question, so with moving this, the smart system, are you using the procurement procedure through the smart system?
Yes, so like, for example, Amazon now, I think the intent will be we will not have to use a credit
We don't anyway. They bill us.
Okay.
Invoice, you know. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is to adopt a resolution designating the IOWA for 25-26.
Yeah, that's just allows both Denise and I to assign people to certain aspects of the business that NDE does. I mean, it's absolutely everything, so. And we need to get that up and going, it just expired this morning, so.
This is a resolution we do every year.
Yes, required.
Motion to approve by Sample?
A second.
A motion and a second, any further discussion? And this is a resolution, we'll have a roll call vote, start with Director Richter.
Abby Richter, yes.
Matt Sample, yes.
Jeremy LeBlanc, yes.
Sonia Peterson, yes.
Laurel Christensen, yes.
Amanda Lisi, yes.
Ron Winter, yes.
Resolution carries. Next is to adopt a resolution to approve an amended fiscal host agreement with the Minnesota Valley Cooperative Center for the 25-26 through the 29-30 school years.
Okay, so this is the final step. We had made some, approved it, and now we're trying to figure it out so we can get certain things like vendors tied back to us so they don't have to stay with NBCC. So by making us the paymaster for NBCC, that allows that to flow seamlessly. Attorneys took a look at this and we're in agreement with this practice.
Did NBCC discuss this tonight? They passed it? All right. Is there a motion to approve?
A motion to approve.
Go for it.
A motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, this is a resolution, we'll have a roll call vote, start with Director Richter again.
Abby Richter, yes.
Matt Sample, yes.
Jeremy LeBlanc, yes.
Sonia Peterson, yes.
Laurel Christensen, yes.
Amanda Lisi, yes.
Ron Winter, yes.
Resolution carries. All right, adopt resolution to serve as the official paymaster for all employees hired under the MVCC in accordance with the existing joint powers agreement and fiscal host designation. Just a continuation of.
That's correct. So we approved the changes to it, and now this is finalizing them as us as the paymaster. So those two go together.
I'll make the motion.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion?
This puts it into one agreement so that in the future, we don't have to look to another board meeting for an amendment to it. So, because that was part of the problem we had with the current agreements, is there were multiple agreements and they never got meshed together. This puts it all into one.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote again, start with Director Richter.
Abby Richter, yes.
Matt Sample, yes.
Jeremy LeBlanc, yes.
Sonia Peterson, yes.
Laurel Christensen, yes.
Amanda Lisi, yes.
Ron Winter, yes.
Motion carries. Next is to adopt a resolution approving the fiscal year 27 long-term facilities maintenance 10-year plan.
Okay, so this is just a revenue projection. These are just ideas we have there. In no way does this obligate us to spend this money in this fashion. We just know if that were, if we did have need for it, we do need to have it on a 10-year plan. Basically what it does is it allows the legislature to understand what are the ongoing costs for operating our school building.
sense of, right?
So a resolution to adopt, or a motion to adopt the resolution, so.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second by Zempel.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing no other discussion, we'll start with Director Richter again.
Abby Richter, yes.
Thad Zempel, yes.
Jeremy LeBlanc, yes?
Sonia Peterson, yes?
Laurel Christensen, yes.
Amanda Lisi, yes.
Ron Winter, yes.
Resolution carries. Next is policy update. I don't think we have any of those. Discussion items. Don't have any of those on the list as well. Correspondence. Didn't receive any. Upcoming events is a community referendum meeting at the Hanley Falls Fire Hall this Wednesday, July 16th at 6 o'clock. Community referendum meeting on Facebook Live, YME Facebook page on July 2nd at 5:30. Also that night is a community referendum meeting in the YME auditorium at 7 o'clock. Board meeting on August 11th at 6 p.m. Election day, for everybody listening, is August 12th. Starts at 8 o'clock to 8 p.m. Mermed Paraprofessional Conference in Benson is August 13th. And the New Teacher Workshop, August 19th to the 21st. Staff Development, August 25th to the 28th. Back to School Open House is August 27th. First day of school for the 25-26 year is September 2nd. And our